Your brain is lying to you right now. Not in a small way, in a fundamental, life-destroying way that you can't even see. This is the confirmation bias paradox. You think you're gathering information to make smart decisions, but you're actually building a prison. Here's the thing that's almost funny. You Google things to prove you're right, not to find out if you're wrong. You read news that agrees with you. You remember evidence that supports what you already believe. Quick heads up. Shortform sponsors this video. I'll tell you more about them later. Now watch this mental trick. When you buy a specific car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. Those cars were always there. Your brain just started noticing them because they confirmed your choice. The paradox? The smarter you think you are, the better you get at finding evidence to support your biases. You're not getting smarter, you're getting better at being wrong. Here's what separates the truly intelligent. They actively search for information that proves them wrong. When you find yourself thinking, I knew it, that's your cue to look harder for opposing evidence. Your brain wants confirmation. Give it contradiction instead. Chapter 1. The Prison. You're about to see something disturbing. The first piece of information you receive about anything becomes your mental prison. They call it the anchoring effect, and it controls every decision you make. When someone says a used car is worth $15,000, even if you negotiate down to $12,000, you think you won. But here's the trick. That car might only be worth $8,000. The anchor made you feel smart while you got scammed. It gets worse with the availability heuristic. Your brain judges probability by how easily you can remember examples. Think about this. You're more afraid of sharks than vending machines, but vending machines kill twice as many people yearly. You fear plane crashes more than car accidents, even though you're 2,000 times more likely to die driving to the airport. Why? Because dramatic events are memorable, and memorable feels probable. The escape is almost too simple. When making any decision, ignore the first number you hear. When judging risk, look up actual statistics instead of trusting your memory. Your intuition about danger? It's usually dead wrong, and sometimes that's literally true. Chapter 2. The Illusion. Here comes the painful truth. The less you know about something, the more confident you feel about it. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's why incompetent people think they're geniuses, while experts doubt themselves. Think about when you first learned to drive. You thought you were amazing after 1 week. 10 years later, you realize how much you don't know about driving. This creates a bizarre paradox. The people most confident about complex topics like economics, politics, or health usually understand them the least. Meanwhile, actual experts say things like, it's complicated, and I'm not sure. Society rewards the confidently wrong and ignores the cautiously right. We elect politicians who claim simple solutions to complex problems. We trust influencers over scientists. But once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. When someone seems absolutely certain about something complex, that's your signal they don't understand it. Real intelligence sounds like doubt. The smartest person in the room is usually the one saying, I don't know, let me research that. It's not weakness. It's the beginning of actual wisdom. And speaking of researching and actually learning, this video is sponsored by Shortform. And I use them to break out of mental reruns. Shortform is a non-fiction book summary app that's basically a cheat code for learning more, learning faster, and learning at a deeper level. I recommend them because they go beyond what other services offer. With Shortform, not only do you get a detailed one-pager covering a book's core ideas in minutes, you also get thoughtful commentary and analysis, connections to other ideas from other works, and interactive exercises. It's like having the smartest person you know explain everything. Shortform's extensive library features all of today's must-read books across dozens of important subjects, from psychology and health to business and productivity. For instance, check out their guide to Atomic Habits. Not only do they summarize it, they connect it to other research and show you how habit loops work in your brain. And the key takeaway blew my mind. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. When we're talking about cognitive biases and mental traps, That's exactly the kind of system-level thinking you need. Shortform doesn't stop at books either. They help speed up your learning with article guides, podcast guides, and a browser extension that summarizes everything on the internet with a click of a button. You can access all of this for the price of one book a month. But if you use my link, shortform.com/Peter, you'll get a free trial and 3 months off the annual plan. Now let's talk about an even more expensive cognitive trap, the one that's probably costing you thousands right now. Chapter 3. The Mistake. You're about to learn why smart people make the dumbest financial decisions. It's the sunk cost fallacy, and it's probably costing you thousands right now. Here's the insane part. The more you've invested in something failing, the harder it becomes to quit. You stay in dead relationships because you've invested years. You keep fixing a broken car because you've already spent so much. You finish terrible movies because you paid for the ticket. Listen to this carefully. Every decision should be based on future value, not past investment. The money you spent is gone. The time you invested is gone. They don't exist anymore, but your brain screams that quitting means losing, when actually, continuing is what makes you lose more. Poker players know this secret. The best players fold most of their hands, even after betting. They don't chase bad money with good money. Here's your new framework. Before every decision, ask, if I was starting fresh right now, would I choose this? If the answer is no, get out. It doesn't matter if you've spent 5 years or 5 million. The past is a story you tell yourself. The future is the only thing you can actually change. Chapter 4. The Crowd. Watch how easily you can be manipulated. Social proof is controlling your decisions right now, and you don't even know it. When you see a restaurant with a line, you assume it's good. When everyone's buying a stock, you want in. When a product says bestseller, you trust it more. But here's what they don't tell you. The crowd is almost always wrong. Think about every bubble in history. Everyone bought tulips. Everyone bought .com stocks. Everyone bought houses in 2007. The crowd created the disaster by following the crowd. Social proof works because we assume others know something we don't. But here's the comedy. They're assuming the same thing about you. It's the blind leading the blind, except everyone thinks they can see. The intelligent move is almost always the opposite. When everyone's buying, consider selling. When there's panic, look for opportunity. When something's trending, that's usually when it's about to end. Remember this rule. If everyone agrees on something, everyone is probably wrong. The money isn't made following footsteps. It's made by walking alone. Chapter 5. The Authority. You're programmed to obey, and you don't even realize it. The authority bias makes you surrender your thinking to anyone who seems like an expert. Someone wears a white coat, you believe them. Someone has a fancy title, you don't question them. Someone speaks with confidence, and you hand over your critical thinking like a gift. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most experts are just confident beginners. That financial advisor, they're guessing with your money. That fitness influencer, they're selling what worked for their genetics. That business guru, they made their fortune teaching others how to make fortunes they never made. But you can flip this principle and use it yourself. Want people to believe you? Don't try to convince them. Just display signals of authority. Speak slower. Use specific numbers instead of round ones. Reference obscure studies. The same bias that makes you vulnerable makes others vulnerable to you. Just remember, real authority comes from results, not from pretending to have. Join our YouTube membership for exclusive perks like early access to scripts, input on future topics about productivity, and connect with a like-minded community that gets it. Click join below and let's build your easier, more intentional life together. Chapter 6. The Reversal. This next principle will seem completely backwards. And that's exactly why it works. The Benjamin Franklin effect says, if you want someone to like you, don't do them a favor. Ask them for one. Your brain assumes, if I'm helping this person, I must like them. Otherwise, why would I help? We don't help because we like people. We like people because we help them. Politicians know the secret. They don't just ask for votes. They ask you to put up signs, make calls, spread the word. Each action you take creates a psychological commitment. You become invested, not because you believed in them, but because you acted for them. Action creates belief, not the other way around. Use this strategically. Ask your boss for advice, not approval. Ask competitors for small favors, not confrontation. Ask someone you're interested in to help you with something tiny. The favor creates the bond. But here's the key. It has to be small enough that they'll say yes. Once they help once, they'll rationalize it by deciding they must care about you. Chapter 7. The Strategy. Forget everything you think you know about problem solving. First principles thinking is how Elon Musk builds rockets and how you'll build solutions. Most people think by analogy. They do things because others do them that way. But what if everyone's been wrong for decades? First principles means breaking everything down to fundamental truths, then building up from there. Here's a perfect example. Everyone said electric cars were impossible because batteries were too expensive. But Musk asked, what's a battery fundamentally? It's cobalt, nickel, aluminum, carbon, and polymers. What's the London Metal Exchange price for these? Suddenly, batteries could be 90% cheaper if you buy the materials directly. He didn't improve the existing solution. He questioned why the problem existed at all. Apply this to your life right now. Take your biggest problem. Strip away all assumptions. Ask what's physically true, not what people say is true. If you had to solve this from scratch on Mars, what would you do? The solution hiding behind conventional wisdom is usually 10 times better than the accepted answer. Chapter 8. The Framework. What if you could see the future? Second-order thinking gives you that power. While everyone else sees the immediate effect, you see the effect of the effect. It's like chess. Amateurs think one move ahead, masters think 5. Consider minimum wage laws. First-order thinking. Workers make more money. Second-order thinking. Some businesses automate jobs. Unemployment might rise, prices increase, purchasing power changes. Third order. Automation accelerates, skill requirements shift, education needs transform. Most people stop at step 1, which is why most people get surprised by obvious consequences. Here's your mental exercise. For every decision, ask, and then what? At least 3 times. You get a promotion, and then what? More responsibility, and then what? Less time for family, and then what? Suddenly, that promotion might not look so attractive, or maybe it does. But now you're choosing with your eyes open. The future isn't mysterious. It's just second-order effects that nobody bothered to think through. Chapter 9. The System. Your brain is terrible at probability, and that's costing you everything. You fear flying but not driving. You buy lottery tickets but don't invest. You worry about terrorism but not heart disease. Probabilistic thinking fixes this mental bug. Instead of asking, could this happen? Ask, what are the odds? Everything in life is a bet. And most people don't even know the odds they're playing. Watch how this flips your entire decision-making process. That business opportunity with a 20% chance of 10 times returns? Mathematically, that's a great bet. That safe job with 90% chance of slow decline? That's actually the risky choice. When you think in probabilities, safe becomes dangerous and risky becomes smart. Here's your new decision framework. Assign rough percentages to every outcome. Multiply probability by impact. A 10% chance of changing your life beats a 90% chance of staying the same. This is how billionaires think. They don't avoid all risk. They take calculated risks where the upside is worth the downside. Stop thinking in yes or no. Start thinking in percentages. Chapter 10. The Leverage. The most powerful negotiation tool isn't talking. It's shutting up. Silence is a weapon that nobody expects and nobody can defend against. When you stop talking, the other person's brain panics. They feel compelled to fill the void, and when they do, they reveal everything. Police interrogators know this secret. They ask a question, get an answer, then say nothing. Just stare and wait. The suspect starts talking again, adding details, contradicting themselves, revealing truth. Salespeople use the same trick. State your price, then shut up. First person to speak loses. The silence creates pressure that words never could. Practice this tomorrow. In your next conversation, when someone finishes speaking, count to 3 before responding. Watch them squirm. They'll add more information, backtrack, reveal their real position. In arguments, silence makes your point stronger than any comeback. In negotiations, silence is worth thousands of dollars per second. Master silence, and you master every conversation. Everything you just learned is worthless unless you understand the compound effect. Small actions repeated daily create exponential results. But here's the dark secret everyone ignores. The compound effect works in reverse too. Small bad decisions repeated daily create exponential disasters. That's why most people's lives get worse, not better. Think about this mathematically. Improve by 1% daily, and you're 37 times better in a year. Decline by 1% daily, and you lose 97% of your value. Same time frame, opposite universes. The difference between success and failure isn't talent or luck. It's tiny choices compounded over time. Here's your action plan. Pick 3 biases you learned today. Create one system to counter each. Apply them for just 5 minutes daily. Check your assumptions. Question the crowd. Think second order. In 30 days, you'll think differently. In 90 days, you'll decide differently. In a year, you won't recognize the person making decisions for you today. The compound effect isn't magic, it's math. And math doesn't lie. Even when your brain does, you now know what 90% of people will never learn. The question is, will you use it or just know it? Because knowing without doing is just another cognitive bias. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who knows the most. It's the one who acts on what they know. And hey, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Also, let me know your thoughts on what I just shared. Oh, and there's more. I've just started a Patreon to help support these videos and connect with you more directly. Check out the link in the description if you'd like to join.